Welcome on board Lisa Mi Amore, a super yacht built by the legendary Christensen shipyard. Now, Christensen were based in Vancouver, Washington, and have built some of the finest super yachts that America has ever constructed, this being no exception at all. Lisa Mi Amore is actually 157 feet in length. She has a beam of 29 feet and 7 inches, and she was built in 2005. There is so much that I want to show you on board this yacht, and on this occasion we're going to take a very different pathway through the yacht as I show you around. More about that later, but let's start here on the sun deck. First thing you may notice is there's a number of these fittings here. Now, these are all to be able to strap down water toys in this area. In fact, you can fit jet skis here, paddle boards. I would imagine you could even get a laser sailing boat there, or a topper or something similar. There's a crane hidden very neatly away here, and it has quite a considerable power to it as well. This actually has a 4,500 pound lifting capacity when it's retracted, and fully extended it's still a 2,000 pound capacity that it has. That's not the only space for water toys here either. If you look over here, we have these lovely sun pens. Underneath, this whole box is for storage, particularly of water toys. Of course, you can put anything in there, lines, fenders, whatever you like, but this yacht also charters very, very successfully, and it's great that you can put in here an inflatable water slide, other inflatable toys as well, all kinds of things that makes the charter or your vacation even more enjoyable, and you can put them all out of sight. Moving further forward, as you can see, currently this area is being used for a small gymnasium. Naturally, if you wanted to, you could put a couple of armchairs there, whatever you like really, or you could position these however you prefer. I love this area under the shade though. Just look at it, it's magnificent. Not only do you have a really comfy little seating area there in the shade, great spot to be able to have a few cocktails and a chat with your friends, but also you have this huge bar area with 6 lovely stainless steel stalls all the way around as well. Behind the bar you have refrigeration and lots of storage space, and actually as we go through the yacht, the storage space on board is one of the standout features. Close by we have this wonderful barbecue area here, which just begs the opportunity to be able to have steaks or burgers there and sit around the bar and enjoy chatting with your friends over a beer and a burger. And this magnificent jacuzzi tub as well, which, especially if you have children, it's a great spot to be able to put the kids. They can splash around while you have your beer and your burger over at the bar. I did say though at the beginning that we wouldn't be taking the normal route through this yacht. Usually I go deck by deck from the top down to the bottom. On this occasion we can go directly from the top to the bottom, courtesy of this rather handy feature. This is the lower deck lobby. That elevator actually takes you through every single deck on the yacht, right up to the sun deck, which is a very unusual feature. Let me show you something about the guest accommodation down here, because it's really quite unusual too. As we move forward, we have 2 twin cabins. Each one of these cabins has what I would call a queen-size bed. It's certainly bigger than a single, plus a single, plus a Pullman bunk as well. Now that's An important feature, as I've mentioned in other videos, when a yacht charters, really they can only accommodate up to 12 guests. That's because any more than 12 and the yacht has to qualify for what's called a passenger yacht code rather than a luxury yacht code. However, there's many times when some of the people on board are not necessarily guests. They might be staff, they might be bodyguards, they could be a nanny for the children. It's actually quite common that a nanny comes along. I know one particular yacht owner, a very elderly gentleman, who always used to have a doctor with him for medical emergencies for himself and for his wife. Those are staff. So if you do have extra bunks, it's always a good thing on a charter yacht and of course on a privately owned yacht too. Each one of these cabins is beautifully appointed. Here we start to see something about the workmanship and the cabinetry on the yacht. I don't know, I think this is probably American cherrywood, but it's absolutely superb. Something that Christensen, and in fact on the whole in the United States you see a lot of, is really exquisite cabinetry makers, and this is very much the best of the best. As we look through here, each cabin has its own beauty cabinets, so the guests can sit down here, put on their makeup, put on their lipstick if that's what they prefer to do. And each stateroom has an absolute abundance of wardrobe space and drawer space as well. Moving a little bit further forward, we have this rather unusual little room here. Unusual but extremely useful, not just because there's lots of storage space here, but also because sometimes in the middle of the night people will wake up and they want, I don't know, a glass of water, they want to make themselves a cup of tea, they want to just have a snack to put it in the microwave, and they don't want to disturb even the crew, much as the crew are always very obliging with that sort of thing. Nonetheless, some people just prefer to be able to come, do what they're doing and go back to bed again. So great little recess here, very, very practical. Further forward we have another twin cabins, this time with a really wide and spacious bed in each one of them. These are actually both identical to each other, port and starboard, the only difference being the colouring of the marble here, the colouring of the wall panels here. But they're identical in this beautiful cabinetry work, spacious areas for wardrobes, and absolutely gorgeous, and dare I say it, sumptuous ensuite bathrooms too. But the stateroom I particularly wanted to show you on this deck is further aft. Just look at this. We have his and her wardrobe space, his and her drawers, lots of space, this wonderful cabinetry again, and if anybody is ever concerned about not having enough space for clothes and for belongings, this is the boat to buy because there is so much storage here. But I wanted to show you something rather interesting about this beautiful painting here, which at the touch of a button transforms into a flat screen television set. Once again, gorgeous cabinetry. Once again, really useful and practical beauty cabinets here. But just take a look at the bathroom because it is sensational. A huge shower room, a beautiful tub. Again, gorgeous woodwork and marble work. They call this a VIP cabin, and you certainly would feel like a very important person if you had this cabin to sleep in at night. This is not the only accommodation though. Let's take a look on the main deck. The lobby area and the spiral staircase itself is somewhat of a feature on the yacht in my opinion, and bear in mind that many people when they arrive at the yacht, rather than meeting it at the dock, will have a tender take them out. They'll use the side stairs to get onto the yacht, and this is what they'll first see when they get on board. Now, if they bear right from this side entrance, they'll head towards the master stateroom. We'll take a look at that in a few moments. But this is rather a cool feature too. Excuse my pun, rather a cool feature. This is a temperature controlled wine fridge. Now, I mentioned temperature controlled wine fridges in another video, and I had a few comments from viewers saying, well, of course they're temperature controlled, they're a fridge. But that's not really what I mean. If you look carefully here, you can see the extent to which you control the temperature on these fridge. Right now the fridge is being used for a certain sort of red wine which needs to be kept at a certain temperature, but if you want to stock up with white wine you can change the temperature accordingly. It's a really excellent feature to have on board. Moving forward, we have the main deck day head through here. And as you can probably see, a sliding panel to keep the rest of the guests separated, if you like, from the owner and his suite. I love this little studio here. Sometimes there's a corridor that leads to a master stateroom and the builder tries to make the corridor into something that it's not. This is no corridor, this is a proper little office area with a desk, a lovely leather sofa there, plenty of space for books as well. But where it really astonished me is when you walk through and just look at this beautiful master stateroom. For me, I really love natural wood. I adore this. You can really see the workmanship that's gone into it, the grains of the wood. And considering this yacht was built in 2005, it's remarkable what incredible condition it's in. I've been all over it 3 or 4 times today. I've not seen a scratch, I've not seen a ding. It's immaculately kept. It's an absolute tribute to the owner and to the crew on board. But where it gets kind of really interesting is through here, because on either side we have a his and a her wardrobe, and also his and her heads. I'm saying his and her in the wrong direction, in the wrong way, because I'm pretty sure that that's the his and that's the hers. I'll show you why. If you come through here, we have this enormous wardrobe with drawers here as well to keep your socks in. And there's even a little stall here too to put your socks on. Then not only is there the door leading through to the bathroom, but you can also access the bathroom through here. This again is beautifully appointed, gorgeous marble, lovely fittings, and access to a shower. And as you enter the shower, it becomes apparent this is actually a shared shower, and the reason that I'm pretty sure that this is the hers of the his and hers bathrooms is this is a much bigger space, and also includes this glorious tub here as well. It's such a well thought out yacht. And by the way, the door that's just behind you, Max, at the moment leads into the wardrobe on the other side of the cabin. So it's a great layout, it's very, very flexible. I honestly think if somebody's looking for a yacht where they need to have a lot of storage space, they need to keep a lot of clothes on board, a lot of belongings on board, this is pretty hard to beat in the size range. Now let's take a look a little bit further aft, because the real wow factor, in my opinion, on this yacht is further aft on this deck. When we take these videos, very often the crew are really keen to present the yachts at its very best. They really do take a pride in the yacht that they work on, and we had some discussion about whether we should lay this table ready for a dinner party. But actually we all agreed that the table itself is so beautiful, it's such an exquisite piece of American workmanship, that we preferred to leave it like this, just with some rather nice flowers on, so that viewers of the video can appreciate what a gorgeously built table this really is. There's many practical features here as well though. We spoke about the amount of storage that's on the yacht, and you can see there's even more storage there for all of the chinaware, glassware, more storage here, a very nice television set as well, so that if somebody's in the middle of watching sport and then dinner served inside. They don't have to miss out on the game, they can still watch it there. But just take a look through here. This is the wow factor that really hit me when I walked onto the yacht. What a glorious main salon this really is. It's just exquisite. There's nothing fancy that I can tell you about it. There's nothing particularly interesting, no gadget that I can explain to you in this area. All that I can tell you is the most inviting, cozy, elegant main salon that I've seen in a very long time on a yacht. As you walk through, you have this kind of lobby area as well. Now remember, a lot of people coming onto the yacht will be coming out of the water, so it's kind of good to have marble here first before the carpets, because some people will be coming in with slightly wet feet. And they'll be coming in from the aft deck. Interesting configuration on this particular yacht. You have this lovely large bar area with a refrigerator built into the bar as well. And then you have these two separate tables. I can well imagine this is an area that a lot of people will enjoy just sitting back, having a cocktail and having a chat. I have a friend who's a yacht owner. His yacht is not quite as big as this, but this tends to be the area that me and him sit and chat about business. He loves to give me business advice, for which I am eternally grateful to him. And I've noticed a lot of yacht owners tend to do that. As you walk along the dock, you'll quite often see an owner and one of his guests just having a really good heart-to-heart conversation right here. And this does seem to me to be the perfect place to do that. From here, you can also access the upper deck, aft deck as well. So let's take a look at that too. Here, on the other hand, the crew have very kindly dressed the table and it looks absolutely magnificent. This, to me, is what owning a super yacht is all about. Being able to have a meal in an incredible setting like this, something a little bit special. There's a chef on board. We actually had lunch cooked by the chef today before we filmed this part of the video. It was fantastic. We didn't eat here, we ate in the crew quarters, but this is a lovely sized table that's perfect for this kind of a yacht. And you can just imagine, again, enjoying the sunshine, enjoying a cocktail while you're waiting for your dinner to be served. And once again, that important television set so that you don't miss the game if you've been watching some sports on television. Talking of that, this is quite a neat feature as well on board, at least on the Amore. Have a look inside the Sky Lounge. And here we have this sunken bar. You'll see as I step through here, there's a step down, which is perfect for the crew to be able to serve the guests. Now, I've noticed, particularly in the United States, where there are some wonderful restaurants, that even in some very, very fine dining restaurants, often people are invited to eat at the bar. I think it's part of American culture, probably in other countries too. There is something nice about being able to sit at the bar, and even in fine restaurants, they'll have televisions showing the sports. I think it's a great place for socializing. You can have your friends here, you can have your beer or your rum and coke served from behind the bar, and you can watch the game. After which, you can move over to this super comfy sofa where you have the larger TV set at the opposite end, and you can watch it from there too. I know that I get comments from time to time saying, look, you don't have a yacht to watch the television. Of course, you're right. People have a yacht to enjoy the ocean. But there are moments, if you're on board for 2 weeks, for 3 weeks, there are moments when you want to just sit back with your friends, watch the television, watch a film, watch the sport. And I can't imagine a more inviting ambience in which to do it than this. As we move further forward, so in my opinion, this is where the guest area ends, and really the crew area starts from here onwards. You have the elevator here, you have a day head here, remember that you're still in the guest lobby, but then here we pass to the captain's cabin, which is a really nicely proportioned cabin. He has his own wardrobe space, of course, there's a little area for him to work, his own ensuite head too, and this is located just behind the bridge, just through here. This is a proper wheelhouse. Leathers, woods, even marble, and these gorgeous big helm chairs here. You can imagine the captain and his crew on the watch, seeing what's going on around them. Interesting actually that they put marble up here as well. It gives a real luxurious feel to the yacht. Very often these days carbon fibre is used, sometimes it's just a leather. Having marble up there looks very, very cool indeed. Each one of these screens is interchangeable. You can see at the moment they're set to different things. This is the GPS. We have the radar here. This is the same GPS again, but panned out a little bit more. This looks like a depth sounder, which is so important when you're in the Bahamas. Many viewers often ask me whether a yacht has zero-speed stabilizers. It does. In this case, the zero-speed stabilizer control is just here, and you can see it says anchor there. It knows that we're at anchor. Actually, it's a fairly calm day as well, but it's good to have those for those days where you do get a little bit of a swell, which can happen even in the Bahamas. And I particularly liked this to see that there is space for a proper chart table, because this one actually has the dividers, the rulers here. Some captains still do like to be able to do things with a chart. So if you like that, you've got the space here to be able to do it. So we're really in the crew area now. Let's take a look at another area that's very important for the crew and for the guests as well. And that's the galley. Actually, the galley can be accessed both from the formal inside dining room and also through this side door here. And again, storage space is incredible on this yacht. We have more fridge space, more dry storage space here as well. Through here, we have even more wine storage, but also this goes all the way back there. It's a huge pantry full of stores at the moment, but the actual galley itself is found through here. And this is very, very impressive indeed. The size is much bigger than I expected. The finishing's beautiful. You've got this huge 6-ring hob here, 2 ovens, an extra microwave here, lots of storage space. But as we come through, take a look at this. Even more space. I mean, this particular yacht at the moment runs with 1 chef, but if you had a sous chef as well, they certainly wouldn't be getting in each other's way. More refrigeration space, more freezer space here. And then take a look at what's downstairs in the crew quarters. And the crew quarters is really worth showing you. Just behind me here is a door that goes directly to the guest accommodation. Through here we have lots and lots of fridge and freezer space, even a little cool room here that at the moment has got fresh fruit, eggs, bread in there. The storage is incredible. If one wanted to buy this yacht and cruise the world with her, they really could, not just for the seaworthiness of the vessel itself, and we'll be talking about that a little bit later, but also for the amount of storage space on board. More fridge space here, a beautiful crew mess, and we were eating down here a little bit earlier in the day, and there is lots of space for everybody to be able to sit around very comfortably and eat without hitting each other with their elbows. Through here, we have no less than 3 washers and 3 dryers. Again, as you can imagine, if you have all of the crew on board plus 12 guests and they're all here for, say, 2 weeks or more, cruising extensively, those washers and dryers will be used all of the time. Through here, we have the crew quarters, 4 cabins, each one with their own ensuite, each one with 2 bunks. So the maximum capacity for the yacht is a crew of 9, or let's say 10. In this case, there's a partner's husband and wife team that work, so they share that captain's cabin, and you have a further 8, or potential for 8 crew back here. I do know that one part of the yacht everybody likes to look at is the engine room, so let's go and take a look at that now. So the layout of the yacht is such that you have this large lazarette area in the transom, which is essentially a work area. There's sea bobs here, a little bit of storage here as well. When you show a yacht to people, there are certain areas that are so fantastic that what I tend to do in a boat show is let the person go first to take a look. Areas like the master stateroom. On this yacht, the engine room is just such an area. Take a look at this. This is an engine room that has been loved. Not only are those MTU engines shiny, but they've also been overhauled last year. Now, when people buy yachts, very often they ask about how many hours are on the engines, and that's an understandable question. You want to know how much the engines have been used. You want to know when the next service is due. But it has to be said that these marine diesel engines are the same units that power cargo ships around the world over and over again. They'll just keep going as long as they're well maintained. And really the maintenance schedule of a yacht and of its engines is as important, if not more important, than how many hours the engines have done. I say that because this particular yacht, the maintenance schedule is fantastic. The fact that these engines were overhauled last year, not only that, but the entire yacht was repainted as well, speaks to a loving owner and to a crew that really do the work that needs to be done to maintain this yacht to an excellent condition. One other thing that was done in the engine room that really impressed me as well was the addition of these boxes here. I'm sure that you'll be able to film them afterwards, Max. They're silver-coloured boxes that are attached to the generators. And effectively, they're like a catalytic converter on a car. What they do is they reduce the emissions and the soots from the generator exhaust. Lots of little things like that that have been updated that make this yacht very, very special. So, in summary, we have a 157-foot yacht that's been subject to upgrades and excellent maintenance over the year, which we already mentioned that it's got a full repaint, the engines were overhauled, an incredible charter history with great charter potential, tons of storage space for water toys on board as well, great world cruising potential. She's been built to ABS certification. The ABS, by the way, is the American Bureau of Shipping, and that's one of the highest regulators for build quality on yachts. But she also has MCA certification. Now, MCA is more about the safety on board. If you want to charter a vessel, if you're going to have paying passengers on board, you have to have a certain safety level. Many yacht owners would say, forget paying passengers. I have my family on board, I have my kids on board. Of course, I want it to be to the highest levels of safety. We have all of that wrapped up in the package of an absolute legendary boat builder, Christensen, with a recognized brand. I would say that if this is the kind of yacht that ticks some of the boxes that you're looking for, absolutely you owe it to yourself to come and take a look. And to do that, you need to contact one of my colleagues, Kevin Merrigan and Wes Sanford.